Hello community, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to give you your second stimulus check update for Thursday, May 21st. Before I get started, I'm going to ask you guys a favor. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, if you're not a subscriber to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe now. I really would appreciate it. Also, do me another big favor. Hit that thumbs up button for me. That will allow YouTube to spread my channel and this video to a wider audience, which in turn, hopefully, will increase our community. Thank you very much for subscribing and hitting that like button. Now let's move on to the update, the HEROES Act. Where are we currently with the HEROES Act? Well, it's at the Senate, the United States Senate, but it's just sitting there. This week, as I reported earlier in the week, I assumed that the Senate would start working on this HEROES Act, trying to figure out if they were going to pass this particular stimulus package. But they're not considering the HEROES Act this week. They are doing other business at the Senate, and it does not include working on the HEROES Act. They're working on some judicial nominations, things of that nature. Well, here's the timeline, at least what I think will happen with the HEROES Act at the Senate level. This week, they won't get to it. Next week, we have Memorial Day, which is May 25th. So the Senate will be in recess for May 25th, May 26th, and I believe maybe even May 27th. So they won't start or either reconvene at the Senate until probably around May 27th or 28th. And that's when they'll start working on the HEROES Act. As I've reported in previous videos, this is a Democratic backed stimulus package, the HEROES Act. So the Republicans are not really keen on the way it currently reads. So they're going to have to negotiate with the Democrats in order to come up with a HEROES Act that they can agree on and pass. Now let's be honest here. In my opinion, it will pass. You will get that $1,200 second stimulus check. But when it passes is the question. Again, since the Senate is not going to start looking at this HEROES Act until the tail end of next week, that means negotiations will go into June. And it's going to take them a week or two to hash out negotiations and probably get the HEROES Act passed around mid-June. That means you will not get that stimulus check for $1,200 until July. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Also, keep in mind the unemployment benefits at the federal level will be running out as of July 31st. What am I talking about? Well, you get your state unemployment, but you also get an unemployment benefit because of the CARES Act, the first large stimulus package. You get a $600 a week federal unemployment benefit. And that's going to be running out July 31st. Another option for folks is you're able to tap into your 401k or IRA plans without any early withdrawal penalty because of the CARES Act. There are some provisions in the CARES Act that allows you to withdraw some of your 401k or retirement money in the form of an IRA without an early withdrawal penalty of 10%. So if you have a 401k and you got money in it, if you have an IRA, you got money in it, and you can tap into that. You can take some of that money out up to $100,000 without any early withdrawal penalties. Now, you do have to pay ordinary income tax on that money that you take out, but if your back's against the wall and you're running out of money and you have this money in your 401k or IRA, certainly consider tapping into some of that to tie yourself over until you either get back to work or you find a new job or you get this second round of stimulus money. Well, let's move on to this $4,000 a month stimulus check that you've been hearing on YouTube. Members of both houses of Congress are introducing a bipartisan bill to provide a tax credit to retain workers who lost their jobs due to the pandemic. It would help those workers cover costs associated with learning new jobs. It comes as 36 million Americans have filed for unemployment in the last 2 months. The Skills Renewal Act would be available to any worker who lost their job due to the pandemic. It would cover training expenses through the end of 2021. This tax credit is fully refundable, which means it will be available to all workers, including low-income workers with no federal income tax liability. The credit can be used to offset the cost of post-secondary programs. Training could be done through apprenticeships, certificate programs, and 2- and 4-year programs. Online learning would also be counted. So in essence, what it is, it's a bill that's being proposed, and it's a $4,000 tax credit. And what would happen is that bill would be a part of the HEROES Act. And let me give you an example. I lost my job and now I need to learn a new skill set in order to get a new job. So I would take my $4,000 out of my bank account and I could pay for learning a new skill set in order for me to get a new job. What this bill says is, in 2021, when I file my taxes for 2020, I'm able to get a tax credit for that $4,000. So for instance, I filed my taxes in 2020, say I owe no taxes, but I have this $4,000 tax credit. I can apply that and that would be refunded back to me in the form of a tax refund on my 2020 tax return. So you got to actually have this $4,000 and you got to actually spend it on education or increasing your skill set so that you can either get a new job or go back and get your old job. That's what it is. It's not a stimulus check where you're going to get this money up front from the government and then you are able to spend it in the economy. No, it's not like that. It's a tax credit. So that's the difference. So I thought I would just give you guys my opinion on that because I know it's been out there and a lot of people have been talking about it. And I just wanted to make sure you guys in my community understood exactly what that is. And again, it's just a bill. It's not been passed. It is a bipartisan, and all that means is the Democrats and the Republicans are bringing this proposal together instead of separately. So that's what bipartisan means. Both parties agree on this and they're going to submit this proposal for review together. And so that's a good thing. I'm glad to see Republicans and Democrats are at least working together on something. And that's a good thing. I'm not happy about the HEROES Act not being a top priority at the Senate level. And obviously it's not a top priority because they're not working on it. They're working on other things and they're not going to even get to this HEROES Act to try to figure out this thing or, you know, put a deal together until late next week, which again, like I said earlier in the video, that's going to push us into negotiations in June. And that means it won't get passed till late June. And that means you, the American people, will not get your stimulus, your second round of stimulus checks until probably sometime in July. And I think that's sad. Well, all right, drop me some comments, guys. Let me know what you think. And again, thank you for taking some time out and checking out the video. Stay safe, continue to love one another, and we'll get through this together. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next second stimulus package update. Peace.